Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services, the video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 8th of July, the first important news that is centered to share PM Gati data, something important for your examination and how this is going to help for the part of overall infrastructure development in country. We'll see that. Second, UGC changed the rule to hire entry-level professors. Third, that is Sri Lanka banks on India's tourism for the economic recovery. We have seen that Sri Lanka has witnessed the worst economic crisis, and through tourism, specifically Indian tourism, they're trying to revive and recover the economy. Fourth, that is Tarai seeks input on banning the part of internet call and some mobile application. The suggestions were sought from the citizen. And the last is an editorial, 10 military lessons from the Ukraine during the conflict of India, right? So basically the lessons that India need to learn from the Ukraine conflict. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin this session, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting this session with the first news that is centered to share PM Gati Shakti data, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So if you look at the part of PM Gati Shakti, which is again a very important platform which called for a mass infrastructure development in the country, the government of India is working out towards a mechanism जहाँ पे data share की जाएगी industries के साथ. By industries, I mean the industries, the companies that will be investing, they would be giving a beforehand idea that where the government is going to invest in the multimodal connectivity projects, right? So Gati Shakti basically focuses on the part of multimodal connectivity where it called for physical and social infrastructure development. And this is something very, very important for the part of the infrastructure development in the country and overall economic prosperity for the country like India, which is aiming for a 5 trillion economy. Now, the part of the new planning group, that is NPG, is under the platform and it has a multiple layer geospatial data that is across the country. तो जो हमारी PM गति शक्ति की प्लेटफॉर्म है उसमें कई ऐसे इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर्ड है that is for a secure purposes. Now once it is shared with the industries people, it will make them aware that where the government is next. The focus of the government is on the next project and even aims to help and evaluate the part to facilitate 85 large central infrastructure project worth of 5.4 lakh crore rupees which will be invested by the government. Now, क्या roadmap है इसको execute करने की and even how the things are working out. Specifically talking about the part of Ministry of Electronic and IT, they have been asked to examine that what are the feasibility in sharing the part of geospatial data and sharing to be compatible with the Science Ministry's policy and other issues related to protection and privacy. See, any project that is coming out after the cabinet approval has certain part of the privacy which is involved because something directly cannot be revealed out. The due process of law that has to be followed. There is SOP, standard operating procedures that has to be followed. So everything is in place. Accordingly, इस सारी चीजों की feasibility को check करने के लिए Ministry of IT और Ministry of Science के साथ coordinations की गई. Now, all ministries are working out for the data that can be shared and PM Gati Shakti portal can be opened up for the investor and other stakeholder outside the government also. So this will call for either an example of triple P or a beforehand experience for the companies that will be investing in that particular infrastructure projects. Now, a brief about the PM Gati Shakti master plan. I think most of you must be aware of this. Those of you who don't know, I'll be making a brief discussion on that. And PM Gati Shakti आपकी मेंस के लिए भी काफ़ी relevant है. Those of you who are appearing for mains this time, 2023, उनके लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा important. The PM Gati Shakti master plan actually was launched in August 15, 2021 during the Prime Minister's speech, and he said that this particular plan has a worth of 100 lakh crore rupees. The holistic infrastructure development program known as Gati Shakti plan aims to improve the productivity and even call for employment opportunities. And I'll request you that आप PM Gati Shakti या फिर Gati Shakti की जो websites हैं उनको ज़रूर visit करें. You will get a handsome idea about the part where government is investing. This will give you a complete brief pictures. Now, the National Master Plan lays down the foundations for overall infrastructure and even provisions for integrated and holistic path of the economy. The Gati Shakti plan will become the part of the basis for India's regenerations to manufacture the part of world-class product using the new age technology and cutting-edge innovations. Now, whatever we have discussed, I can summarize some of the important points. Like Gati Shakti project has a multiple layers of geospatial data across the country. This has a networking plan group so far evaluated for 85 center infrastructure project, and ministries are currently working on what data to be shared with the industries and investors. Now, the other news, UGC changed the rule to hire entry-level professor. That is basically called as assistant professor or associate professors. So ये काफ़ी important है आपके जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 2 के लिए, जहाँ पे issues related to development and management of education and human resource are mentioned in the syllabus. Now, what is this news all about? Recently, UGC ने एक नई standard set की है. When it comes to the part of directed, there is no longer mandatory provisions for the PhD degree to apply for the assistant professors in colleges and university. Very, very important decision taken by the government. और ये काफ़ी लोगों को help करेगी. And just to remind you, this is something which will not compromise with the quality. It does not ensure कि अगर आपने PhD की है, then you are, no, PhD is something you're writing a thesis in a particular topic. And to get a PhD degree in India is pretty tough. Apart from your academic excellence, some people seek for some personal favor also. And there were a lot of clutter that was there, right? Now, to declutter the part, government has come up to completely scrap the part of PhD degree essentiality and the mandatory provisions to get into the part of the professors or associate professors. And I personally feel this is something very important for the present context. Now, it's enough to clear the part of national eligibility test. आपको PhD degree की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. You have to apply for NEET. You have to get it done. State eligibility test भी होती है states के लिए. We have state level eligibility test. That should be mandatory for an appointment process. The University Grant Commissions as an higher education regulatory in the country when it comes to the part of educations, और ये सारी decision basically 2018 की जो decision है उसे revert करती है. Now, the minimum criteria for the direct recruitment in the colleges and university at the entry level come into effect with 1st of July. Now, what was the earlier system? अगर erstwhile system की बात करें, जो पुरानी system थी, how it actually was working. So, in a revised regulation, minimum qualification for appointment of teachers की अगर बात करें 2010 में UGC ने कैटेगोरिकली कहा था that नीट के अलावे जो कैंडिडेट होंगे उनको PhD की भी डिग्री की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, जो कि अब रिमूव कर दी गई है, right? In other words, the candidate had a doctoral degree. He or she could apply for an appointment if she has not cleared NEET set or तो पहले provisions में PhD degree was a mandatory and even they have not cleared NEET. Now PhD is not mandatory, you have to clear the NEET. As per the changes rule in 2014, PhD degree was a mandatory qualifications. This is the old one. And a direct recruitment to the post of assistant professor in university was done. So that is the reason I told you to get an PhD degree called for a lot more personal interest by a professor under whom you are pursuing the degree. It is upon his will or her will to get the things done, right? So it is a bit ambiguous and ambiguity still persists. बट ये नए रूल्स के बाद ये सारी चीज़ें बहुत हद तक खत्म होंगी. Response from the academic community. The teachers acknowledge that removing the PhD degree requirement could help candidates from marginalized sections. This is very true. But there are apprehensions that over the selection process and the practices, whether the candidate research for a degree might be overlooked and just NEET, SEET or SLET will be there. The candidate having postgraduate degree and UGC net degree will be able to apply for the assistant professor job, and even across the colleges and university they will able to work. Now, moving to the other news, Sri Lanka banks on India tourism for recovery of the economy. Something important for Gender Studies paper 2, that is Indian economy and its neighborhood relations. So Sri Lanka government currently hosting 67th conventions for the Travel Agent Association for India in a further to boost the part of Sri Lankan tourism, inviting Indian tourism or Indian tourist or Indian diaspora to reach out to the Sri Lanka. Now, according to the President of Sri Lanka, tourism could emerge as Sri Lanka's chief exchange earning in the sector for the next decade. और अगर बात करें कंटिन्यूड टूरिज्म की, इंडिया से काफ़ी ऐसी पॉपुलेशंस हैं एंड इवन द डेटा इज ऑन हायर साइड दैट गो फॉर श्रीलंका एज अ टूरिज्म एंड द प्राइमरी सोर्स ऑफ इकोनॉमी इन श्रीलंका. फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व में काफ़ी हद तक मदद होगी उनकी रिकवरी के लिए. एंड आइसलैंड नेशन एक्सपेक्ट फ्यू टूरिज्म फ्रॉम यूरोप एंड अदर कंट्रीज एज वेल ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ रिसेशंस. Now, bouncing back on the part, if you see, the tourism industry that has brought billion into the island nations, and this economy is recovering back. और अगर tourism की बात करें श्रीलंका में, like after the attack which was there in 2019, which was also known as Easter Sunday attack, तो उसके बाद बहुत हद तक चीज़ें improve हुई है. The things are reverting back, and even it could recover because it has suffered successive blows during the pandemic also. Financial meltdown काफ़ी ज़्यादा रही है, and the worst economic crisis was also there. I'll discuss that in a while. Now, prior to that, 2018, the sector foreign exchange earning has totaled to 4.3 billion, according to the Tourism Development Authorities. Now, India has consistently topped the part of Sri Lanka tourism arrival, and even including the part of the COVID-19 time where the island nation had the economic crisis. Meanwhile, Air India ने recently अपनी जो subsidiary airlines हैं Air India के साथ, they have come up with the daily direct flight between Chennai and Jaffna in the northern Sri Lanka. So this is how the preparatory part and even the tourism part can be explored, helping out the economy of the Sri Lanka. Now, economic crisis की अगर बात करें, I think all of you must be aware of the fact that what was the economic crisis going through Sri Lanka, the worst economic crisis since their independence. और financial meltdown की वजह से काफ़ी ज़्यादा problem हुई. There lot of prices that was on the high. I mean 40% अगर बात करें 40% तक inflation चली गई थी, and even something that has triggered a lot. And total arrival भी tourism की काफ़ी ज़्यादा कम हुई है. Tourism basically from India is on a higher side. 24% tourism come from Russia and United Kingdom. Focusing on India and a strategic partnership between two countries is vital to ensure successful recovery of Sri Lanka tourism industries. Now, moving to the other news, Torais seek input on banning internet call and messaging apps. Something important for Gender Studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. तो इंडिया में जो रेगुलेटरी बॉडी है, एक इम्पॉर्टेंट रेगुलेटरी बॉडी व्हेन इट कम्स टू द टेलीकॉम, दैट इज टेराई. मेक श्योर आप टेराई की ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट्स पे जा करके उनके अबाउट अस पेज को ज़रूर पढ़ें. दिस हैज़ बिकम वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जो भी ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट बॉडी न्यूज़ में रहती है, उनके अबाउट अस की पेज आपके लिए काफ़ी रेलिवेंट है. So they have come up with the detailed plan on the consultation paper, and they have asked that whether the messaging app like WhatsApp and other licensed app should completely cut down with the internet chat, और जो कॉलिंग्स हैं क्या उनको बैन करने की ज़रूरत है. There's some regulations there they have asked with the possibility on the part, because India में WhatsApp, Facebook and Instagram are the most influential apps. So Telecom Regulatory has flooded the consultation paper to explore the part of internet-based call messaging app like Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, Apple की जो FaceTime है, और ये सारी चीज़ों को लेकर के एक situations create कि ये whether they are feasible or not, considering the point of security also. Now suggestions दी गई थी parliamentary panel की तरफ से. This is not something Terai had directly come out, but the suggestion was there from the parliamentary panel with regards to OTT. What is OTT? It is over the top. I think most of you must be aware of the OTT and must be using it. Now, the communications part, the part of selective banding should be there. So, Department of Telecommunications को recommendations भेजी गई हैं parliamentary panel की तरफ से to look into the consideration where Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, this should be taken into a consideration whether an emergency situation is there to take the decision on banning it on the part of the internet calls only. The panel has recommended that DTU, the Department of Telecommunications, to examine the recommendations of TRAI और ये इनेबल करेगी सेलेक्टिव ओटीटी के साथ इवन फेसबुक व्हाट्सएप और टेलीग्राम के लिए भी लागू होती है टू एक्सप्लोर द पार्ट दैट इट शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड फॉर एनी एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट एंटी टेररिज्म एक्टिविटीज एंड द पार्ट ऑफ द स्पेसिफिक रीजन regulations के लिए OTT के लिए क्या suggestions दी हैं parliamentary panels ने. Now the regulator in the consultation paper have sought the views that the framework for OTT encompassing the unlawful inceptions and their privacy is a regulatory part where the customer verification, frisking call messages, technical challenges should be specified in the services. And TRAI has recommended that in September 2020, there was no need to regulate the OTT communication service. But now, at this point of time, with the changing dynamics, that has become an essential. Now, moving to the part that is 10 military lessons from the Ukraine conflict for India. You can read this in Indian Express with the title called Changing Battlefield. This particular news is article or editorial is important for gender studies paper 2, that is effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries. Now what I'll be discussing in this editorial, the theme is learning from the Ukraine war specifically for India and the global world. Background की बात करेंगे and उसके अलावा जो 10 important lessons हैं, these 10 lessons will be discussed with you. So according to the defense expert, जितने भी defense expert उनका कहना है रशिया और यूक्रेन की war as a multiple lessons for the militaries across the world including India, right? And a big takeaway for the Russian-Ukraine conflict war has been need to become self-sufficient or self-reliance in the defense sector, which India has been doing a lot. अगर इंडिया में बात करें, Make in India initiative is one and the other is PLI scheme, which is for different domains and sectors, right? Now, it has also pointed out that the ecosystem should be placed where an uninterrupted flow of defense supply should be there without relying on any countries. The government has pushed for the Indianization of the equipment, ammunitions, and the part where government of India is looking, taking steps in the right direction that India should become a self-reliant in the part of defense manufacturing. The कुछ 10 important military lessons for across the globe and also for India. We'll see one by one. तो इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के बाद कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट मिलिट्री लेसन्स है जो सीखने की जरूरत है. The first is the unstable deterrence upon a big power geopolitical conflict is inherently escalatory. इसका क्या मतलब है? See, whenever there's a war which is ongoing between two countries, you never know how far and what is the length and breadth of it will stretch out, right? That is a complete reality. But अगर रशिया और यूक्रेन के केस में बात करें, what was the main part and what was the main escalation point was inclusion of यूक्रेन into NATO expansion की बात की गई थी और रशिया का कहना था कि जो ईस्टवर्ड एक्सपेंशन है NATO की वो रशिया कभी नहीं चाहता. So that has escalated and even this reason are brings out that ये एक बहुत ही diplomatic reasons थी, but the intention was something different. So this is something you do not know how the geopolitical conflict and how inherently escalatory it could be. There's no, you only know when it starts, no one know when it is going to end. This is what they wanted to convey. The second is prolonged war are more towards a deadlock. This is something related to the first point. And Russia's ability to defy the numerous predictions to defeat has come surprise on the part of Russia's defeat and even a bet. Third is a prolonged war requires steady hand on the battlefield and a stable domestic front. You need a support from a domestic country, from the people, from the citizen of this country, whenever there is a war ongoing, right? India has also witnessed war with the part of Pakistan or बहुत सारी और भी wars हुई हैं post independence and till 20th century. So these are some of the things that India has also learned a lesson. Fourth, a battlefield and a political resilience on the two sides on the same coin. अगर बात करें military setback की, तो आपने last year में देखा होगा Kyiv, Kharkiv और Kherson. These are the important area basically where Russian forces has come up और इन्होंने पूरी तरह से डेट्रीमेंट किया इस एरिया को, कैप्चर किया, and they have destroyed a lot many cities in Ukraine. So these are the places in Ukraine where a lot of and mass damages were there. Fifth, that is a prolonged war and the war of reserve. Political will बहुत हद तक इसमें involved है. Military capacity के important part है, जो military reserve होती है, that play a important role. Central industrial fusions, industrial logistic, fresh rotated manpower and paramilitary are something that must be taken into consideration before taking any war. And Russia's army industries have bounced back in the arsenal now and has become more battlefield equipped. Sixth, there is no linear or overlapping linkages. The Ukraine conflict को अगर देखें 21st century में, it was an intersecting between 20th century artillery and in the part of the defense. तो काफ़ी हद तक रशिया ने अपनी जितनी बेस्ट पॉसिबिलिटीज आर्म एंड एम्यूनिशन है उसकी भी यूटिलाइजेशन की. Number 7, that is the use of AI and quantum technology with the part of the current generation 21st century की जो modern technology even that can be used in a war has emerged, and this has given some a part of a dangerous signal where the technology can also make things more dangerous. Now escalations, this has gone up to the cyber domain, even electromagnetic spectrum, and even eco warfare that could have a new marines for the strategic surprise. 8, that is maintaining control over the widely disparate forces that will require integrations of command and entirely new orders. अगर बात करें virtual beyond virtual range की, जिसे BVRB कहते हैं, there are capabilities where Russian forces are now providing deadly when part of the rich tech militaries are there, even from US and China. See, रशिया की मिलिट्री कैपेबिलिटीज काफ़ी हाई है बिकॉज ऑफ द नंबर्स, बिकॉज ऑफ देयर स्ट्रेंथ. नो, दे आर इन अ फॉर फुटिंग. और अगर S-400 मिसाइल सिस्टम जैसी और इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करें, दे हैव सम वेरी स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट टेक्नोलॉजी. तो compete करना इज अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क, बट डेफिनेटली सी द वे यूक्रेन इज डूइंग, दे हैव नो इनहेरेंट पार्ट ऑफ द इंटेंशंस, राइट. तो वो अपने सिटीजन के लिए कर रहे हैं, एंड इवन दे आर गेटिंग सपोर्ट फ्रॉम US, वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज एंड द NATO alliances. The ninth, that the appeal for technology in the universal is the part of the doctrine's piece, but adopting technology and the part of the doctrinal need secured for the part of battle gains, and even changed mindset between its own part. Network warfare enables the substantial benefit and logs to the hubs, and even in part of the combat situation that not choose to be. So you never knows the situation worst going to be, and there's always a way ahead. जहाँ पे notable warfares कि जो बेनिफिट है, रिस्क है, उसी भी समझने की जरूरत है. और इंडिया के लिए अगर बात करें, इंडिया नीड टू प्रिपेयर टू फाइट एट वॉर, नॉट लूज विद अदर्स. एंड फाइनली, इंडिया शुड क्वाइटली हैव अ मिलिट्री रिवोल्यूशंस जहाँ पे हायर डिफेंस मैनेजमेंट की जरूरत है. प्रोक्योरमेंट, रिक्रूटमेंट शुड बी देयर. जो ऑपरेशनलाइजेशन प्रिंसिपल है टू बिल्ट अप द पार्ट एंड मेकिंग थिंग मोर स्ट्रॉन्गर should be the core idea behind Indian armed forces, be it its army, navy or air force. Now, independence is through the actions matter for the war of peace, and all through the meaning for strategic autonomy of our defense processes. That is true a litmus test for the country. So this was all about the 10 important lessons that need to be learned. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, the correct option is D. Today's MCQ for practice, that is the first, the National Center for Good Governance. आपको बताना है इनके बारे में. The Department of Administrative Reform, Miscellaneous Personal Grievances, and the part is the body. It is governed by the governing body and the chairmanship of the cabinet secretary. So do check out for the correct option. Second is about Mission Vagir, or you can say the part of the Vagir which is there. It's a sea cliff features with advanced acoustic absorption technique, the first submarine that was commissioned in December 2017. So this type of question is pretty relevant for CAPF examination also. Those aspirants will be working on the part. This is important for them. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis. If you have any other questions, queries about the courses, admission, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.